Chapter 23. By 1944, the war was finally going their way. The Allies were heading for Rome, and Russia had liberated Odessa. London was now crawling with soldiers. They were on the streets, in the theaters, and packed in at the Howard Hotel. Tonight, Lisa was looking her best and decided to use the opportunity of such a large crowd to try out the Rachmaninoff prelude that she had learned in preparation for her year-end recital. The mysterious aura of the Rachmaninoff matched the mood of expectation. Soldiers' leaves had been canceled abruptly. Most of them knew that they would be back on ships and planes the next day. The hush in the lounge was deeper than usual. After Lisa had played the powerful ending, 3 soldiers approached, led by a lieutenant carrying a carnation. He stepped forward and said, "Mademoiselle, there is a gentleman who wants to meet you." The soldier had such a strong French accent and such charming determination that Lisa didn't feel the least bit like saying no. Besides, it was time for her break. She followed them back to a table where a tall man with compelling dark brown eyes and a wonderfully direct expression stood up immediately. He held out his hand and he took it, assuming he wanted to shake, but he raised it to his lips gracefully and kissed it instead. "C'était magnifique. Que vous magnifique." "I'm sorry, I don't speak French," Lisa said. "Rachmaninoff," he said, cupping both hands over his heart. "Ah, so you know," she beamed at him. Then it was his turn to throw his hands in the air. "You don't speak any English?" Lisa asked. "His English is terrible," said his friend, speaking for him. "He is in the resistance, fighting for the Free French. He's our captain." The captain then said something in a deep voice to his lieutenant, who turned to Lisa and translated. "He says to tell you that you are the most beautiful woman he has ever seen." Intrigued by the aura of strength about the French captain, Lisa found herself believing it, just a little. The captain pulled out his calling card and handed it to Lisa, looking into her eyes and saying a few words in French. The lieutenant translated. "He says you must promise to invite him if you ever give a concert. He says no matter where he is, he will come." The next time there was unusual emptiness at the Howard Hotel. On her way back home, Lisa looked up in the sky and saw wave after wave of transport planes flying overhead. The Allied invasion of Europe had begun. Lisa had been working toward the final end-of-term recital that students give in late June to the faculty and students of the Royal Academy of Music. She arrived at her lesson with Mrs. Floyd and played through the pieces in a run-through for the upcoming event. Mrs. Floyd clapped appreciatively at the end, and Lisa took out her pencil and prepared to mark the music as usual with the new round of critics. To her surprise, the teacher asked her to put her pencil away. "Lisa, I don't have any notes today. It's time to trust yourself. You are ready to soar." After so many lessons where she had heard her playing, dissected and analyzed, this was wonderful news. Lisa would go to this recital and finally play what was in her heart. "One more thing," Mrs. Floyd said, with a twinkle in her eye. "It's time to think about your debut." Lisa was so stunned she said nothing. Usually, a student's family helps toward the expenses of a debut, but because of your circumstances, the faculty has recommended that the Academy help in the arrangements. Lisa remained speechless. "That is, if you would like a debut," Mrs. Floyd said, teasing. Lisa leaped from her seat crying, "Of course I would," and wrapped her arms around her instructor in an exuberant, spontaneous hug. "I don't know how to thank you," Lisa said, genuinely honored. "Oh, and one more thing. For the location of your debut, we are thinking of Wigmore Hall." Wigmore Hall! It was incredible. The moment she had dreamed about all her life was finally within her grasp.